Army Afghan war veteran and joins us from the U.S. Capitol. Really appreciate your time. Now, as someone who has been on the ground in Afghanistan, what do you make of the Taliban taking so many provincial capitals in such a short space of time? What does it tell us about them and the Afghan army on a military level?
Hey, thank you very much for the opportunity. What a great honor to be here with you and with your audience today. Before I get into the so what of where we stand today with the Taliban, I would like to mention that I've grown up under the Taliban. I lived in Afghanistan before I moved to the U.S. and joined the army, and I've been deployed to Afghanistan on numerous occasions. I have looked at the war in Afghanistan from academic perspective as well, and that brings me to the three elements of the so what of why we stand where we stand today. The first is we've got to look into who are the Taliban. These are thugs, drug traffickers, criminals, and terrorists that have hijacked jihad narrative. And the group has been created by Pakistan's military intelligence apparatuses, trying to win a fait accompli over the Afghan elected government. Now, it brings me to the third aspects of the so what of where we stand. Every war has a center of gravity. From the beginning of Operation Enduring Freedom, did we have a theory of victory? Did we have a strategy that focused on the center of gravity of this war? Just a few seconds earlier, I talked about the Taliban narrative, the support that's been provided to them by the Pakistani military intelligence agencies, and not to mention other regional actors. To date, much of the theory of victory, much of the strategies for counterinsurgency strategies we had focused on countering the Taliban forces on the ground, whereas we should have first looked into ways to counter their narrative, then stress their alliances, the Pakistani military intelligence apparatuses, and other actors to stop providing the safe havens and the support and the sponsorship to the Taliban. And then we should have focused on fighting the Taliban forces. We should have held them at rest. So now that brings me to the what now of where we stand today. To begin with, the peace negotiation was a politically inspired decision. There was no mutually hurting stalemate. You want to have a successful negotiation, you want to have the Taliban agree to a peace term, you wanted to have some level of a mutually hurting stalemate. What do I mean by that? Much of what we see today is self-serving soft stalemate for the Taliban leadership. They're not in Afghanistan, they're in Pakistan, their families have a better life. So that tells you that there is no mutually enticing opportunity for the Taliban leadership to accept the peace.
Fazelhaq, we're running out of time. So thank you for the background of how we got to where we are today. The truth of the matter, though, is that more provincial capitals continue to fall. More of the country is now under Taliban control. How do you see this all playing out over the next few weeks?
With the U.S. perceptive withdrawal, that kind of gave the Taliban a level of strategic momentum in a upper narrative. They started with strategic messaging and outreach to Afghan leadership. They started to undermine the people, and they started to undermine the military by strategic messaging. But I understand that the Taliban have made somewhat of a gains on the ground. But the gains that they have made, the territorial gains that they have made, provides a greater opportunity for the Afghan National Security Forces to kind of detract from their momentum. What I mean by that is the Taliban will have to provide manning for the bases, for the headquarters that they have captured from the Afghan National Security Forces, and having been in contact with many combating commands on the ground, they're telling me that there is a plan in place that they will continue to exploit. the momentum, the opportunity that's been provided by the Taliban momentum over the past few months.
Fazelhaq Haqmal speaking to us there from the US. Appreciate your take on that. Thank you.